What's going on today, rappers and producers? Welcome back to the second episode of the Engagement Corner, the literal only interview segment on YouTube featuring music producers. Today I've invited Curtis King onto the channel in order to ask him the hot burning questions. If you do not know who Curtis King is, he's a music producer and rapper who also happens to do YouTube. Recently he's been focusing a lot on music as well as no longer taking part in the music producer YouTube community. Normally I prepare questions for this sort of thing and I was kind of running. I got a few things, but like I asked my Discord for some stuff.
Okay.
It's so bad. It is so bad.
Let it rip. Let it rip. I'm in a good place. Here's what I don't want to do. I don't want to come on here and give the same kind of conversation that I've had before because I'm not in the same headspace. Like I'm doing really good. I'm not here to tear nobody down, but at the same time, like the facts can never be disrespectful. So
all right, hold on. Maybe I should skip a few of these.
Hey, let me say this. Let me say this. Why when I came into the video, okay, yeah, the video might have been related to me and some other stuff, but why when I donated to your cat fund, just throw a bunch of cap emojis at me, man? Yo, people don't like me.
I don't think it's that. I think they're saying that because then Busy calls you Curtis Cap, and they're just like spamming the caps. I don't think it's like. I don't think it was like a hate thing. But there are some people that don't like you, and I don't really get why.
What do you think it is?
To them, at least, seems like maybe sometimes you don't handle criticism very well, or at least when it's like from like a random person, which
Sure.
I kind of get because sometimes it depends. It depends. Sometimes I get some stuff I'm like, fuck this person. You know what I mean? Like usually I don't block the comments or whatever, but like I'll just like immediately be like, fuck this person. Like, you know what I mean? It depends.
Look,
sometimes I'll be like, you know what? They got a point. They got a point.
It took me a minute to get there because I haven't always had I've had thick skin. And like when I was younger and like going to LAUSD, you got to be able to clown, you got to be able to joke with people and talk shit. But when it came to this internet space, it was like, wait a minute, this is like every time you get on and it's somebody that you don't have to validate, like, because usually when you clowning with somebody and you talking shit, you can look back at them and just be like, nigga, look at your shoes. Like, look, you know what I mean? But here you get to be an invisible avatar and speak like an expert. But there's nothing around that shows that you're an expert. So I think some people give criticism. And one thing somebody had to remind me, dog, like the internet is open to everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
There's no checkpoint. There's no gatekeeping.
What? Every age. I knew there was an issue, Weaver, when they started protesting the Christmas cups at Starbucks. Offending people.
I think I kind of miss that. But I think they do that kind of stuff everywhere because they're just like, you know what I mean? Like, what about my holiday? You know, what about this thing?
Well, you know what that kind of gave me? It's gonna be a weird connection. But when I saw that, I was like, oh shit, we're letting kids kind of determine our like politics. We're letting kids determine how we,
social
how
politics.
sensitive social politics. And I saw that and I was like, oh, so this doesn't have a ceiling on it. This can go as ridiculous as you want it to go. And I felt like it has in a lot of ways. But now when you're looking in this space, like, dog, I'm sorry if I've put in the 20 years to do this. It's not that I'm above criticism, but do you mind if I cuss? I don't want to.
No, of course. I don't mind, dude.
Who the fuck are you? You would not walk into a building. Like, people who, if anybody's ever did like door-to-door selling, you got to validate who you're asking about this thing that you're selling. If they're not the decision maker, why are you wasting your voice with it? But what people got to understand is that if you've never turned on a camera, like Weaver, like myself, like a lot of folks out here do, you'll never know what it's like to be in that chair. And it's a different level of growth. And it took me a long time to really grow and be mature enough to take criticism and say, all right, not did that offend me, but could I see some truth in that? Or could I see why somebody would see it that way? And that helped. Like,
yeah, the whole invisible avatar, like the fact you don't know who's behind that, like it could be the same person just commenting from a new account all the time. There's no accountability behind it, but like I like, it doesn't make their point invalid, but it's harder to take it seriously sometimes, especially when they jump straight from 0 to 100.
You know, my favorite thing that happens when you block somebody and they find you on other social media and they're like, why'd you block me? And then they show you the exact reason why you blocked them and you block them again. It's that kind of shit. Because I'm like, first of all, you having interaction with somebody that creates content is a privilege. I believe it is. You may disagree. I think it's a privilege to have contact with these people because they're providing a bit of a service. They're providing video. And I'm not saying like from some bougie, pedestal. I'm just saying like these people have families outside of this. These people have lot.
I mean, you get paid for it, but you're not getting usually paid directly from the people, especially the people that are just coming there to hate.
Well, you're getting paid for the work that you're putting in. Like, I don't look at it as I'm getting paid for the people who are tuning in. Like, I know that that's somehow part of the equation, but I look at it like, dog, it's a lot of work to edit these videos. It's a lot of work to get the composition, the coloring, and you know, the LUTs and all these different things that we do. So it's like I'm showing up.
Never used a LUT once in my life.
No. Next thing you're going to tell me is that image behind you is stock. I'm not going to believe it.
So I'm trying to get some renovations done here, but it's funny how like people are like just so out of the know. Like speaking of like random comments hating.
Yeah.
Like sometimes like I'll like criticize like somebody like stealing something or like plagiarism or something, and then there actually will be people thinking that I stole this image here, which is funny because I actually bought this image. Edited in the fucking animation here. Those are fake watermarks that I made. It said iStock by Getty Images. I bought it without the watermark, then put my own watermarks back on it. Like I've actually had people be like, how do you have the nerve to speak on that while you're stealing royalty images? I'm like, oh my God, dude.
And that's why I don't respond to some of this shit. Because I'm like, if you're too dense to realize the obvious joke in front of you, maybe you're the joke. So why am I giving that time? And it's not, like I said, it's not from an elitist standpoint. It's just a matter of, in order to do this at a high level, you got to like conserve a lot of your energy for the more important things, right?
You got to set it to the side. Otherwise, like sometimes you're just going to like, for instance, if you responded to every negative comment, you're going to be wasting, that could have been time that could have been put into like another video, you know, like you could be halfway done with that video already.
Yeah. And it's funny. Ironically, Cato was the one that gave me this advice at one point. Because I asked him just in general, I was like, bro, how do you deal with, because at one point, I don't know how it is now. I haven't really paid attention. He was receiving a lot of this shit on a regular basis. I asked Kyle Beast the same question too, privately. Cato said something that was memorable though. He was like, I don't respond except for once a month. And I said, what happens once a month? He says, I let them have it. They get all the sins of the other people. So he'll leave somebody out to dry. And that person will be like, what the hell did I do? I didn't, why did you give that to me? And he said, you just happen to be the one that I chose. I choose you, Pikachu. And I'm going to now tear into you. And so it's like, maybe that's not the most mentally stable way to do it, but I think that's helped to where once a month I allow myself to be human.
Sometimes I will like go hard at someone in the comments, especially if it's like really stupid. Like I might once in a while.
What does a lot of times like the Weaver? Because you don't come off as an argumentative person.
I don't know. I've kind of grew up like on like the harsher days of the internet. You know what I mean? Like everyone's culture, like retard and stuff like that, or like kill yourself, stuff like that. But I mean, I'm obviously not telling people to kill themselves or anything. Like,
oh, okay.
But I've kind of like I just kind of don't usually take stuff that seriously because I mean, if you take it seriously, then you're gonna take it all seriously. You know? Sure. But yeah, there sometimes I will like let like someone have it. Like once in a while, it's very rare. But like a lot of times, I just like make a joke of it. But once in a while there will be something.
That's your superpower, bro. Like I don't see you getting mad at a lot of shit. And when there's moments where I probably would have went off the handle because of who's involved in it, you were just like, let's make some fucking merch. Like I could take a note from that. That's not my brain. When I used to get angry, my brain, my mind, my eyes just see red, and that is a weakness. I used to think it was a strength. That's a weakness to me.
Because beige like, rage.
The beige, exactly.
You could make beige rage merch, man. You could do it. Like
it's fine.
Flip it.
Well, I don't know if I'm infringing on anybody's plugins. So
yeah, true.
The fuck do we have a beige rage plugin for? Continue. I'm sorry.
All right. So the first question I have here that somebody asked, like, God, this is garbage. Why can't you? This is dumb because it's just like I feel like they don't know what they're talking about. Why?
This is what we asked. Yeah.
First off, they worded it wrong. They said why you can't just ignore BWB, but it should be why can't you just ignore BWB? And they put it in quotations too. I don't know what the fuck. Right. I don't know. And I feel like you do already. You do it. You have like mostly ignored him. And like, did he really get mad at you because of that bar? The one about a rapper writing a diss song on you? I
don't know, because I wasn't paying attention.
I wasn't paying attention either. I just someday I got a DM from, it was DiBiase. He showed me the plugin, and I was like, what the hell's going on? Like, because I wasn't like fully keeping up with your content like at the moment either. I didn't know the Beige EP was coming out, so I was just like, what the hell is it about? This isn't even like, and he's like, oh, he's taking shots at Curtis. I'm like, how? Like, I was like looking, I was like, how? Like, I was like, I was like, first off, what is Beige rage? I've never heard that before. That
it's black people talk. Weaver's black people talk. All right, that's what's going on there.
Yeah,
Just playing, go on.
I didn't know about that. And then also, like it didn't look like you in the plugin either. Like I was really confused.
It looked like a light-skinned GI Joe. It didn't even look light. It looked like 3 white men on a plugin. And no offense, Weaver, but it looked like 3 Caucasian men that were part of the GI Joe infantry. I didn't get it until I started to think back what happened to the last project I did. So to answer the question, last year around Christmas time, ironically, Dame Taylor, we had a conversation. Some of you may remember. I don't know if it's still on his channel, but I had a conversation with him on his live, and then he brought Busy on. I didn't want him to. He wanted to mend the fences on it, and I was against it. I was very like because I think what people don't understand is that beat battle, like he has been harassing me online, no exaggeration, harassing me for the last 4 years. Now, in the first year, did I engage it? Absolutely. Because I was like, first of all, you're not going to attack my integrity. You're not going to attack my business. But then I'd say when my business started to take a downturn, and this was like a couple years after the pandemic, I had a business agreement with somebody. It didn't go according to plan. I lost a shit ton of money. Almost lost my home. Almost lost, my way of providing for my son and my wife. And it was at a time where I was seriously debating going bankrupt. I lost Slap Experts because I couldn't afford to keep the doors open on that business. And meanwhile, all of this is going on. This guy's over here creating fake Slap Experts websites to take away from whatever money that I'm making at that point in time. He's admitted that on camera. This is not anything. I'm not going to say anything, mind you. That is speculation. This is things that he's said on the actual interview the conversation you and I had. He has sent people from his Discord, even without saying a thing to him, to come harass me in my live streams when I was doing the Zoom calls. And I have screenshots of all this. I have literal pages of screenshots of the obsession that he has had with me. And I've done my best to not just take the high road, but do what I need to do so that I protect myself if it needs to go to a legal level. Because at this point, I don't want to play the internet game because no offense to anybody out there, but like when 2 grown men have an issue, it shouldn't be played out like this. I've made the mistake. I don't want to make that mistake again. But when somebody gets this uncomfortable, it's to the point where it's like, I think too many folks out there think this is like an equal mudslinging thing, and it hasn't been like that for the last few years. If you look at any videos of me, even the ones that I forget the name of the channel, Monk or whoever, he reposted the videos, I'm literally defending myself.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, my wife is coming down the stairs and she's looking like a baddie right now. Oh my gosh, have fun out there. Don't you have too much fun. I love you. I'm sorry. This is I got my little one now, so my eyes gonna be there. But yeah, it's just a matter of like, dog, I haven't engaged in any of this stuff. But here's what I noticed. I'm sorry going on a long rant, Weaver. The last time that I released a project, he magically puts up the drum pack that I made for his brand. The same day that I released the project, and he's using the hashtag of my album.
Yeah.
And it's just like every single time it looks like I'm getting ready to ramp up and it looks like I'm having a successful launch, which I am, he starts ramping up to piggyback that. And his justifications just don't feel like they're the actual reason. What feels like the actual reason is what I assume to be jealousy, what I assume to be, him not being able to process the things that people say to him in a way that I thought I was very clear, but obviously I wasn't. Cymatics ain't got nothing to do with this. That's just one thing to throw out there. I don't get that narrative.
Like, it's so transparent, dude. Like, what? Like the whole cymatics thing, it's clearly like a personal thing. Like, I'm not even, for anyone that doesn't know, like, yeah. Busyworks Beats has like this obsession with hating on cymatics too, and I don't really get it. Like, I watched his video about how they brought producer grind, and he's talking about how it's like a horrible thing for the culture, but all the references he give are just like how like it wasn't a good thing for him. Like, well, it doesn't really come across as like he has a real point. Like, it's just like it's a personal thing.
There was a time period where Steven reached out to me. I think Drew reached out to me to do content, but because of the conversations I had with Busy about what he felt like was them stealing his content or his ideas. At this time, like I thought I was friends with him. What I come to find out is that he doesn't process friendships that way. What you see is what you get in these videos. It's an odd situation. It was. So with him and Cymatics, he felt like they were stealing from him. He felt like a lot of folks were stealing from him. Who was the kid? There was another producer named Aries. Remember Aries?
Yeah.
He accused Aries of stealing the make this type of beat in 1 minute type of video. And he just feels like everybody has stolen from him.
Yeah.
I believed him when he said Cymatics, and I said, cool, if you're my boy, I'm riding with you, right or wrong, until I see something that's too wrong to ignore. But I'm riding with you. And so I ignored their emails, Steven and them, when they hit me up about, sponsorships. I'm like, no, just ignored it. He made peace with them at one point. All right. He made peace with them. This is why he went on a podcast with them. He made peace with them, and he came back to me about how productive the meeting was. He didn't mention anything about Steven not paying attention to him, whatever. But he said it was productive. And so I said, okay, cool. So then I'll engage with them in business because I know like maybe that could be something that's a lucrative relationship to have. Here's what I say. A lot of people say a lot of things about Cymatics. I don't like to get in the weeds about people's money and their pockets, none of my business. But I'll tell you this, when I went out there to do an interview, hate him or love him, Steve, my bad. Why is his name eluding me? Steve, right? Steven. Yeah, Steven, Drew, and Jordan sat there on a whiteboard and explained their business model to me in 2 hours. And I came home, like it was such a dope experience that like Steven made sure he did some kind of accountability. He got my phone. He made an announcement on my Twitter. He was like, let me see your phone. It's like some Wolf of Wall Street type shit. He got my phone. He was like, all right, man, I just announced to your audience that you're putting out a pack by the end of this week. Good luck. I'm like, don't throw me in the water. But he did that. And the thing is, the reason I even trusted that is because of all the information he gave me. And the whole time I was there was no mudslinging about nobody else's name. They didn't want to gossip. They were literally in there talking about their Teslas, talking about the producers they're working with, and they're running business. It's very fast paced. So by the time I left there, I was lit up with an inspiration, and I made Slap Experts. Right. That's why a lot of this first Slap Experts packs kind of mirrored their business model because they just shared it with me. Now, Drew wasn't happy about that. He actually left me a DM and he hasn't talked to me since. I think he thought that some of them were a little bit too close, but I was learning, man. It was my training wheels. But outside of that, like I've never had an issue. Even Steven is he's so scatterbrained. He'll just randomly call and be like, man, what's going on with this YouTube shit, man? It's like, where did you come from? Up here. But my thing is this, only reason I became cool with him was because I thought he was cool with them and everything was like an olive branch. Then out of nowhere, in true fashion, he changes paths, he makes videos. And when he changed paths, I think he was angry I didn't change paths with him this time, because now it's like, I don't know what this is, but I know what they created for me, right? They never gave me no money. They gave me pure information. They asked to have like access to my email list, and I was like, "Fuck no! Like, no, I'm not doing it because I don't."
That's crazy.
But once again, it's like, okay, I say this with all due respect, Weaver. You my favorite white guy in the world, man. But white folks have a different type of way of doing business when they're supremely successful in this space. It's a different type of doing business, is what I've noticed, and they're not afraid to ask for things, even if it sounds absolutely ridiculous. So he'd call and be like, hey man, how many people you got on your email list? So this amount. He's like, yeah, how about we pay you this and then Cymatics will send some emails to your email list. Fuck no. All right, cool. And then next week ask for something else. So I'm like, sometimes I can learn from that, but it's like there's a cultural difference there where like we don't like that could start up a fight with somebody.
Yeah.
So, but no, man, I'd never had the issue. So when he pivoted again, I was like, first of all, that's when I started questioning, like, are you wrapped tight? Are you okay? Is this something personal? And then he would go on to disclose things I still haven't disclosed to this day about the personal things that were going on with him. And I started to understand and started to sympathize. Now it's to the point where it's like, no, this is full-blown harassment. I haven't said a word. But because I'm ramping up for this BEIGE project and it looks like it's getting momentum, it just seems like there's a lot of mudslinging because there's ego involved. There's entitlement involved. And dog, I literally show up, do my video. I got out the producer community, Weaver.
Yeah.
The fuck are we talking about right now? Like really, like I don't even make producer content. Now all of a sudden he's defending independent artists now. I don't get where the logic is at. So it's to the point now where it's like you can ignore it, and then you can start to see, okay, I may need to ramp this up legally because there's nothing else to talk about here on the internet. I'm talking to you now, and I'm being very careful with some of the words that I have because it's like it's at that level now.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, like, cause like when you ignore someone who's like just constantly digging you like that, eventually they just start like they start to look crazy at a certain point. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like I understand like ignoring someone in that aspect. I guess I don't usually do that because it's just, to me, it's just all fun and games, you know?
Or it's content. It's content.
Yeah, it's content basically.
Yeah, and I even shared, some of the stuff here just so you get, so you get context of what I'm talking about. We're talking about potential defamation. We're talking about cyber harassment and torturous interference in general with the business, things that he's admitted on camera. And it's like, I don't want to play that game no more. I would love for him to think of me as a distant memory. I would love for him to think that I am such a small person on this earth that I'm not even worth his time. But I'd learned people don't attack you unless they feel like you're a threat. Nobody attacks the weak guy. Like, he's weak as hell. Leave him on
If they do, it's like, it's not a consistent thing. You know what I mean? It's not going to be like to that level.
Or that person's weak. If they're attacking weak people, then that person's weak, right? So
yeah.
That question wasn't so bad. What else? What's the worst you got in there? I know you're looking at one of them like, I don't know if I should ask him this one.
Well, I mean, some of them are just jokes. Like, what's your favorite fetish? Like
fetish?
Well, you don't got to actually answer that. Just
pantyhose. Girl on girl. Page 1 and 2. Spandex. Wait a minute, I wasn't done, Weaver.
Oh, you're okay.
I'm just playing. BBWs.
Well, you got to check out the XXL cipher then, bro. You're missing out.
Oh, yeah?
Obviously, you're the guy that pirated FL Studio and got caught.
Could you stop snitching on me?
Bro, nah, you...
I'm playing. I snitched on myself.
Okay, first of all, I think it's really dumb that FL Studio does that, where they put like they have the information at the top, so like they're basically like kind of semi-doxing you by putting that up there, like, and it's just to make sure that people aren't pirating it. Like, it seems kind of like it's an over-preventative measure.
They had proof though. They had proof because my dumb ass decided to put tutorials up. I don't know if it was Peter Quistard, but I decided to put up some tutorials, and they were like, here's the screenshots in question. And before the screenshots, I had received like 2 strikes on my channel. So they had all the leverage. It was 2 strikes for videos that they had to remove. The 3rd strike was up to them. So they gave me grace. So if people think that it felt like I was in that video and a gun was to my head.
It kind of was.
It kind of was.
Wait, did they make you make that video?
No. This was me. Because one thing about my character, especially then, I was a tryhard. And I was doing the best I could to like, oh, no, I'll buy it right now. I'll get some of the packs you guys got them. Like, I was overdoing it.
I'll buy your whole website.
I'll buy Producer Grind if you want me to do that.
I'll buy 2 copies.
I'll bring Tupac back, whatever you want. But at that time, bro, like, once again, I was just starting to get money. I started to ramp up my money as a beat seller. And I think I even had become either right before I was becoming an affiliate for Airbit, not affiliate, an ambassador. I can remember the time period, but when that happened, I was like, dog, I cannot afford even the threat of a lawsuit. I gotta fix this. And so I had the money and I bought it, and the crazy part about it is I bought it and my brain was saying, I'm nervous, but oh shit, I have a contact with somebody at Image Line. This is pretty high up. And so my brain started to kind of go like, how can I really, really show how, because I genuinely, at first I was genuinely like scared of like, yo, what's going to happen to my YouTube? What's going to happen to my business? What's going to happen to my family? All these things, right? But I had no right to be doing the things I was doing. They gave me grace. Not only did they give me grace, but they have a spot in LA. I'm not going to put the location on there. It's not an actual Fruity Loops office, but it's an office that has their affiliates in it. and they're in their work. Like when I went in there, this is like probably a year after that video, they were already messing around with the AI stem splitters and stuff like that. They were already messing with that. I never forget that. It was a guy that was sitting in the corner with one of them big, those screens with the curve on them, and he was splitting them up. And I was like, how are you splitting those drums up? He was like, stuff that's gonna come out later. And it definitely came out later. But it was an office, and it was a dude there, bro, that, of course, they sent a black guy to me. He was like, why don't you go talk to him? They sent him to me, and he was a cool dude, but he like broke down a story of how effed up it is that we pirate shit thinking like, oh, you companies are billion-dollar companies and, you guys can afford it. And he was like, meanwhile, some of these software designers are kind of in similar situations as producers on the come up. They code this shit. They got a wife screaming down their neck about this ain't gonna pay no money. This ain't gonna make us no money. You need to get a job. And then they finally release it only to find that that shit is being torrented, only to find out that shit is on all these different websites. And I was like, damn, that sounds like me when I get my beat stolen. So they might have put extras on the story. I don't know, but it didn't matter. It was impactful for me at that point where I was like, all right, dog, maybe that's the reason why I keep hitting the ceiling with my career. What if I just started correcting some of this shit? And then I started sharing it, and they was like, shut up, boomer. Shut your dumb ass up. I'm going to pirate the rest of my life, Curtis. I got all of that. But
I think with like ImageLine in particular, since it's just like you buy it once and then you get the updates forever, like I think especially for them, it's like detrimental when people pirate. But I understand pirating when you're first starting. Like, I actually encourage people, to get an extended free trial on something until they're sure they're going to click.
I don't know what you just said.
Oh, is my internet fucking up?
Look at them. They got you. They got you, bro. You're good now. You're good. As soon as you said that, we were back out of that one, bro. I didn't hear nothing.
I live in Hawaii, obviously, and I think it's coconuts. Coconuts hitting the internet lines or something. They're throwing you damn kids, quit playing with it. Quit throwing coconuts out there.
That's crazy. I still got to come out there, bro.
I need to call Spectrum because like I keep saying I'm gonna do that and I never do it because of my internet, like sometimes my streams will drop out, and that's like really harmful when you're live streaming. Like if it like the internet drops out for like 20-30 seconds, that's like at least 30 viewers right there. They're just like, oh, it's over. How
do you think I felt when I talked to Omnisphere, the owner of Omnisphere, and my audio interface just stopped working, and I had like at that time it was the most I ever had. It was like 500 people in there, and I was like, oh, where's my focus right? Because I was using a different interface. And I found my focus right, and I was like, Old Faithful. So I get that. People were like, it's fucking unprofessional.
Sorry, I got kind of sidetracked there. I have like horrible ADHD if you haven't figured it out.
No, I haven't.
You haven't figured it out? Okay.
Because your edits, maybe your edits feel ADHD now that I think about it, huh?
I just like leave like,
another news. Now I get your whole get down. I get it now. Okay.
All right, what was I saying though? Like it sometimes becomes really hard for me to like figure out what I was doing.
So we were talking about the pirating thing.
That was like by far your biggest video, right? And it's funny because like, so one of the questions I have here is why keep deriding that you used to pirate FL Studio for clicks? That shit was ridiculous. Ow.
Wait a minute. Why was I deriding?
Yeah, or like that you used to. Like it's like, bro, that's like how? Like I feel like you never mentioned that.
Definitely not in this new content space because these folks don't care about production. But I did mention it many times. What folks got to realize is like just saying it's deriding, I can tell this to somebody that's younger. And I say this respectfully, but it's like when you find something that works, it's the same thing major artists do. When Kendrick first came out with his debut album, he kept saying Good Kid, Mad City every single interview. Because there's people here who don't know your story, don't care, don't know who the hell you are. You're just another person on a 4K screen. But if you tell them this context, all of a sudden it leads them down a rabbit hole to want to watch more videos. This is just like YouTube 101 shit. But people who never create content or successfully would probably never get that. But I'm just saying, like, when you're somebody who's been like, you got to understand, I got, thousands, whatever plus videos. A lot of those are duds, but a lot of those were like, okay, I smell a little bit of success here. What if we keep talking about different angles of this video and maybe we'll get something? Maybe it'll be a dud, but it's like, dog, there's no book for this shit. So I don't really look at it as like, that's a weird way to put it. Dick writing that I pirated a program. I'm just giving context because I'm pretty sure they've seen the video and didn't know who I was and connected the two.
But that makes a lot of sense to me though, because like for instance, like I think one of my biggest, I mean, I've had bigger videos, but I think the one that like had the most impact was the BusyWorks Beats video. Like, and like there's like so many jokes that still get made to this day about it, like from people in the chat, like, oh, you're like I like they're like, oh, Busy loves your cat more than you, like stuff like that, like all like shit like that. People say that kind of stuff all the time. Like I understand, because like sometimes I'll have to point people to that video because I'm like, oh, you don't understand what's going on right now. You got to watch this video, and I understand like why you would point people to a certain thing.
It's also too like, I don't care what your favorite restaurant is, they're not gonna stop putting the menu up because you've been there before.
Yeah.
Like you need to know what they serve up. You need to know what they stand for. You need to know, like, yes, does it get annoying? Absolutely. Branding's annoying. Marketing's annoying. But when you understand how many times, like that person, I would say whatever is their favorite soda, their drink, let's say it's, you know, Coke Zero. It took you seeing it 7 times. Now it's even worse because of all the attention span, probably 14 to 16 times before you made a decision to do anything, whether it was to not get it, whether it's to pick it up, or whether it's to buy it. And understanding that, I realized like I'm not talking to the same person over and over. You know, I'm sorry that I annoyed the shit out that person, but the truth is, you're not the only person there. And it's likely a new person every time I put up a new video that's watching it because it's new content. So I give context to let them know. And it does get annoying because sometimes I got sick of telling my placements, bro. I don't want to fucking have to live on the coattails of producing for Absol and Kendrick Lamar and as I do it right now, right? Like I wanted my story to be much more than that because I've seen producers who do that and that's the fucking end, bro.
It's just corny to constantly be like talking about like, oh, I did this. I mean, I can think of some people who do that. I'm gonna, yeah. Like for instance, like there's people who like, oh, do you even make music? I'm like, bro, just one quick Google search, you can find it. Like,
and you're damn good, bro. I'm be surprised. When I first heard your content, I was like, I like his content, but that probably means that his music is gonna suck. I'm be honest with you, that's what I thought to myself. And then I heard you and I was like, hey, not only is this shit tight, hey, this white boy got swing. He really is out here. And so as I listened, I was like, and then I saw DiBiase tapped in. Like, that's something else too. You can always tell a lot about the creator, the content creator, by the kind of people that tap in. When you got people who've been doing this that are obviously masters of their craft, who are actively tuning in, they see something in you that's unspoken that, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just there. That's why all the ones tap in with me. Yeah, I'm not a musician like that, but I've put the hours in to do the process the way that I do it. I really love this music more than I do content. Content was just a thing that opened up doors the same way production did for my rapping. So, but no, bro, like your shit is dope. And that's why that John Wayne video that came out recently, I was like, I'm glad he said it because I probably would have ended up making that video.
Yeah. You know, I like when I can do a reaction video and I feel like I have some input. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's just like, it's like, oh yeah, a joke here and there. But sometimes I'm like, oh wait, I actually have a lot to say about this topic because it's something I've gone through or seen a lot. I appreciate the compliments, man. Of course, like, same dude. Like I love your music too. Man,
thank you, bro. This BEIGE EP though, like the crazy part about it was I went through all of this and I went through imposter syndrome because I know folks who are like the real deal, right? The folks who can play the keys. I'm not saying that we're not real if we're not, but I've seen the Oh Gosh Leotas. You guys have seen them on my channel. I've seen, you know, the DiBiase's. I've seen him do 404, like his sets on the 404 live, and I didn't even know what the device was when I first went to Leimert Park as a young producer. I just watched him with this device, and I'm like, all right, I probably can't afford that shit, but he's doing some amazing things with this thing. You know, I got in the ciphers with the no can do's and the satires, and I've been out here. Like I really, like even in these LA beat scenes, I was a young guy in these scenes.
Have you gone to Low End Theory before?
I performed at Low End Theory.
Fuck, I'm jealous, bro. 2010 or so. Like I actually got into like Low End Theory, like all that shit. Like my friend had a Stussy shirt that had like all these artists on it. It was like Flying Lotus, Glitch Mob, like I think DiBiase might have been on there. Like there was like a whole list of artists. I like literally like went through and like looked them all up and started like I just got super into it because I was like, oh, this shit is like really different. Like I was really into it. It's actually how I got into producing. Like, you know, I heard Flying Lotus. I was like, oh, he's doing this on a computer. Like I was like, I'm like really into computers and I'm really into music. Like this, so that was like a starting point for me.
So for me, I kind of went a crazy direction because it was like I first went through DimMac. Remember DimMac? Steve Aoki was doing the shows and whatnot. I used to go to DimMac Tuesdays. I met will.i.am there. I met a few different people there, and I just went there just as a fan. Like I can't dance, but I was in there dancing. I was like, that's my clubbing time. But true story, that got me into like wanting to know about more abstract music. And that introduction made me look into low end theory. I had folks that invited me to low end theory. And I just went there just as somebody that was a fan of like Flying Lotus. And I'm looking around like, dog, there's so many legends in this building right now. Like, I wish one day I could get on this set. And true story, bro. I got introduced to Daddy Kev, who obviously, you know, was the one throwing that. And that sounds crazy. That sentence sounds insane.
Daddy Kev
was the one I was.
They call him Daddy Kev. I call him Daddy Kev.
Somebody told me I'm not calling him Daddy Kev. He's not my daddy. Anyway, shout out to the legend. No, he's a legend. He's a legend out here. But no, honestly, from going to Low End Theory as a fan, I remember meeting him. And the most ironic thing, he introduced me. He was like, these are the most powerful people in this room. And it was like somebody from Spotify, somebody from Apple Music. Like this all feels like a 90s movie now that I did all the content that I've been doing, because I felt like I met the guys there that night. He introduced me to him. He reintroduced me to Will I Am and all of this. And bro, eventually I built with him. I kept going back there and I performed as a producer there first. Before my set, quick story. Before my set, I had the shits. My stomach was bubbling. I think I ate some chili cheese fries. I was nervous. And the bathroom was all filled up, and it was people in there that was going to recognize me if I took a doodle with my red shoes. So I ran across the street to this club, bro. I ran across the street to this club. It was like this, like, I don't know what kind of food it was. I won't be racist. It was like some different kind of food. I walked in there and I was like, bathroom? And I'm like, it's about to come out. And they like, you got to buy something. Fuck, give me this apple juice. Just hold it for me. And I went to the bathroom. And bro, I did all that, got my little apple juice, threw it in the trash, went back to the venue, and I went and proceeded to literally shit on that stage musically, thank God. That was one of the best nights of me doing any kind of producer sets, because I had did all the hole in the wall sets. I had did all the ones where it's two people there. This one, packed house, they're vibing out with me. I don't DJ. I'm literally going song to song to song, and I got this thing queued up with effects connecting to FL Studio. I'm not doing Serato. Like, I'm the only one in there with FL Studio in this little like rinky-dink DJ setup or whatever. I'm not blending nothing. I'm just going song to song. That was an amazing night. I got invited there again to perform my guy Noah James as an artist. So yeah, I had a producer set and an artist set, but people don't know that because I don't walk around talking my shit until you ask me about it. Maybe I need to start mentioning some of this shit.
Bro, that's really relatable. Like the whole nervousness of going on stage before, because I played like, you know, a decent amount of shows before. I don't really play shows anymore, but like I've like opened up for Hieroglyphics, Deltron down here, and like, man, I remember I think it was the Deltron show. Like it was me and my buddy that raps Paradigm, and I was so fucking nervous. I don't know how nervous he was, but like we kind of have this thing where we do like a hug, like kind of like a brotherly sort of thing, like kind of just like, you know, like it's almost like
squeezing the tension out.
Yeah, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's not like, I can't think of the word right now, but just that nervousness I can relate to so badly. Like, I mean, I didn't have to shit or anything, but it feels like you're going to throw up or something.
You ever had a thing where, and maybe this happens in public speaking too, where you get like a sharp pain up your back and like you breathe. So. I've had that happen, and I don't know what that is, but I know it has to do with nerves, where I go up on stage to this day. I won't be nervous. My nervous system will feel very calm. But then as soon as I stand up, my back is like, sit your ass back down. You ain't ready to do this speech. And that shit just, that makes me more nervous than the actual speech itself. And then it knocks me out of it. But yeah, I still have nerves even when I live stream today. The difference is I know how to divert those nerves, especially when, you know, like, dog, I want you to get to that point, but I'm like, Weaver, I went from having 30, 40 people last year to this whole Drake Kendrick thing brought damn near 3,000. And I'm like,
saw that, dude. That was crazy.
My name is Curtis King. Was that stupid when I just, like, my whole brain is just, yeah.
It's weird. Like, I don't get that from live streaming. Like, if anything, like, it kind of like, I don't know, it kind of like eggs me on to like kind of turn up the energy more. You know what I mean? But like, it's weird, like with like a live set, I think it's because like you see the actual people, you know what I mean? You don't see the actual people when you're live streaming. So it feels, it's not that it doesn't feel real, but you don't see the human as much. You know what I mean? The humanity is just them saying whatever they're saying, and it's all text, like, you know?
Sure. I get that. Well, and that's why I'm like, I get the nerves now. I think the difference between that and before public speaking, like, you know, like what you were talking about right with the live stream, it's not the live stream that makes me nervous. It's just like, it's that rush of adrenaline. And it's like, yo, why do you have this? Is it because you don't know, if you don't think you know what you're talking about, or because you know that you're getting ready to go kill this? And I now know how to divert that energy into like, that's why you see me like laugh. Laughing for me is probably the greatest relaxation when I'm going through, a nervous time. I read that in a book, The Art of Thinking Big. They talked about if you have sweaty hands, there's always a solution to everything. You got sweaty hands when you get nervous, put them in your pocket. Nobody's gonna know. You get yourself nervous, just start go into a mirror and smile as wide as you can. I did this before Low End Theory.
I'm sorry to talk about busy again, but like I don't want to do the I don't want to like force a smile, because I think of that. I don't know if you ever seen him doing that in like interviews.
Well, it's not. Don't make it awkward. Don't make it awkward. It's just a matter of looking in a mirror and I didn't finish this. The whole point of it is just looking ridiculous to yourself and making yourself laugh and be like, unclench your butt cheeks, bro. It's not that serious. That's all it is. But yeah, I get what you're talking about. Yeah,
dude, that smile, it's scary. It's terrifying, honestly.
Bro, look. This is gonna sound like the most conspiracy theorist thing ever, though. I do believe somebody has been tracking my computer ever since that situation with my YouTube getting taken down. It has felt like a lot of timing. I'm not gonna put anybody's names. A lot of timing has been very, very peculiar. And there's been times that I just tested it out and I just talk in a room like, if you're listening, you're a bitch. Because it's like, yeah, that having my channel, bro. But you know what's crazy? That was one of the greatest things that happened, because ever since I came back, I have not stopped. It's almost like losing your life. I mean, that's really dramatic. It's almost like when you're having a near-death experience. I'm gonna die without a YouTube.
I'll die for this YouTube channel.
But Weaver, I'll tell you this: seeing that shit get deleted because of all of the Elon Musk Bitcoin shit, I would sit on the bed like this.
Just sitting in a casket.
I'm fucking through. I'm done, bro. Because it's like at that time, I know a lot of people say like, people always talk shit when your computer breaks down. They're like, you should have had a backup. No shit, Sherlock. That's not what you want to hear at that point in time. Like, I'm going through it. So in that point, people are like, man, you should have had backup sources of income. Dog, we're building a business. All of us are building our own businesses. That's why I don't go pocket checking, because you never know somebody's story. We're all building businesses and nobody's giving us a blueprint of how to do this, right? Even the gurus don't know how to successfully launch this as a producer. They just know business basics. But I look at this and I'm just like, it's a miracle. Anything that we're doing is what we love and related to what we love, and we're able to make money off of it. We have our down. If you're gonna do business long enough, you're gonna have times where you're gonna have little to no money coming in, and you level up, and then the threshold becomes higher. But the truth of the matter is, like, dog, because I even saw criticisms about me charging for my reviews. Well, first of all, when you're talking to a professional who knows his shit, and somebody who's going to listen in detail and give you things that can put you in a better position to monetize your art, you should invest in that. Or else you look at it like it's of little to no value. And then people get to talking to you like they paid you, which is crazy. People get free shit and talk to you like they paid you, like you owe them. So I like, I say all of that to say, like, bro, it's just all the shit we're doing at some point in time, we're old ass men. We're going to look back at this shit and be like, man, that was a golden era, because it's going to get more challenging from here. This is the easiest it's ever going to be.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, this one's pretty good here. Do you use loops that other people created, samples to chop up, or create your own melody and drums? I see people mixing it up and see people hating on the loops and samples. What's your stance? I think I've seen you do both, right?
Yeah,
and then I've seen you use other people's beats too.
Here's the thing that blew my mind. Like, when I first came into this space, as a producer or as a beat maker, trying to figure it out, I thought everybody was making original music. I thought that the Timbalands of the world were doing nothing but their own original sounds, and they weren't having any help from anybody named Danger Hands or anything like. I thought everybody was just in there by themselves and creating this beautiful pieces of work. And I'm like, how the hell does one person do this? Same thing as a rapper. I thought people were just in there rapping and doing their songs by themselves. And then you realize, like, you're not competing with anybody in this, because everybody has a different structure. I still to this day write all of my music, right? But up until now, I have not produced all of my music. So it's to the point now where, I feel like I'm finally getting with producers that can take it to a level my musicianship can't. I've done all of the tips and tricks and all of the magic tricks with sampling, and I've used loops, and then I reached a ceiling. Here's something I figured out though. and this is not about my project with Iman or nothing like that. When I met producers in the industry, these fuckers use loops.
Yeah.
They start with loops. No shame. There's none of the politics, all that internet debating and sword measuring. That shit only exists on the internet. These motherfuckers be in here starting with loops. Like, I promise you, some of these motherfuckers had Splice before Splice was Splice. Because they would just pull up and be like, man, which one we're going now? And I'm like, no wonder y'all make beats in 5 minutes. You're not making beats. You're compiling, and I don't want to get into that. Like, you're compiling different sounds and you're structuring something that has your input, but you're kind of executive producing this. You're not necessarily, as a musician, adding. So I got to the point where I was realizing, Curtis, you're trying to play a game fair that nobody else is playing fair. No wonder you keep losing. So my thing now, you're at the level you're at as a producer, no matter who you are. As long as you're pushing for growth, like for me, I've been a sample-based producer my whole career because I didn't know how to play keys and all of this. Now, after watching Iman Omari sit here and make these beats, I'm like, fuck, I got to learn how to really make fire-ass bass lines because I suck. You know, meanwhile, I'm spending 30 minutes. Like, I used to do these 6-hour flocations because, one, I love the process. 2, I'm not a musician. And 3, like, I was learning in real time on the camera. But I saw Iman sit up here and he like, he'll take a few sips. He'll smoke. He'll be like, give me about 5 minutes. I'll be back with a bass line. And he'll play some shit that I'm like, where the fuck did you get a live bass player from? And he's just, but meanwhile, my ass for 30 minutes, so now what's happening is I'm stopping myself, not from growing, but from lying to myself. And so I'm getting with the folks that I feel like can really, that's why, oh gosh, it's so important. Nobbying is so important to my music career, especially now. I'm almost to the point, Weaver, I want to let go of producing. I want to let go of this shit, bro. Like, not producing from the standpoint of like giving input, but I don't really have a desire outside of live streaming to sit there and produce beats. I want to get back to what I originally did. I wasn't supposed to be a producer. Keeping a whole stack, I was supposed to be a rapper, but because my homie and I went to go get NBA 2K3 on Dreamcast, and my dumb ass happened to go to the used section on PlayStations, and I saw that they had Tomb Raider 1. I don't want that shit. I heard Blockhead. MTV Music Generator.
That's what you're gonna say? Okay.
No, I'm just saying I was going through the thing. You know, you got Tomb Raider, you got what else, like Crash Bandicoot, and then I saw that and I was like, wait, I can make music on a PlayStation? Because at that time we were getting beats off of BearShare, LimeWire, like MP3.com and whatever else is available. And so when I saw that, I said, my bro was like, my best friend, homie Keaton, was at the checkout getting ready to use both of our money and his money that his grandmother gave him and my mama gave me for Christmas to get NBA 2K3. Because we were just getting beats off of online. But then when I saw that game, I said, bro, I think we need to pull the trigger on this. Had he not took the game home first, because he took it home, he was like, I'm going to figure this shit out. I know everything about games. He came back and he was like, take this shit, bro. I said, what happened? He said, you better with computers and shit. I don't want to do this shit. This shit is too much work. And that literally started my production career.
Making beats on that, like, it sounds really cool. Like, I could see myself as a kid being like, yeah, that sounds fun. But then you actually, like, if I try to do that now, I'd be like, dude, this fucking sucks. Give me the computer. Like, I'll go on the computer.
What do you mean I got to take my game out and then put the CD in to sample 3 seconds on my memory card? It's just like, you got to love hardware. Like,
then, like, the controls, like, you know, tick, 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 tick. Like, no, man, no. Like, at least with that mouse, you could be like, well, I'm just going to go over here real quick. Okay, I'm going to go over there. Like, it's just, oh, man.
Bro, like having the timeline go and then trying to, like, push X every time the snare is supposed to, like, so you're trying to do drums live on that was stupid. It was stupid. But I'm glad I got into it because that was my first DAW. And I didn't recognize I was getting that lesson. But, bro, the first beats I made were horrendous. And it's funny because how am I going to talk shit about loops? That's all I was using. I didn't know what a one-shot was. So I was using, bro, and I had, like, bro, it was terrible, Weaver. Like, it would be like house vocals over, like, sound phonish sounding trumpets. And I was like, you gotta believe. And the bass line was like live. Doom, doom, doom. It was just terrible collisions because I didn't know what I was doing, but I was having fun.
But I almost kind of miss those days. It's like when you don't know what you're doing, because I feel like it's like when you're most creative. It doesn't mean it's good, but like nobody's thinking like that once you get to a certain point, because it becomes so linear and like, oh, this is how I make a beat. I do the trap hi hats like this, like da da da. Like everything is like already pre-thought out. And then whereas like back then it's just like it's like a world of like you don't know what you're doing, so you're just anything could happen. Like literally, like you could throw anything in there, and like no one else would think to do that. So sometimes like it can lead to actual cool shit. Like I remember like some of the first, like I made some like horrible shit at some points and some like really cool stuff. And then like sometimes I like think back and I'm like, man, I kind of wish I had that to like just like hear what I was doing back then, because like I don't have any of those, like, or if I have the CDs, they're all scratched and whatnot.
Yeah. Well,
I think about that sometimes.
I literally have a bookcase full of CDs at the bottom of the bookcase with nothing but those. That very same thing that you're talking about. I've heard enough, Weaver. Like I've heard enough of those beats to know that I don't have anything else to dig into. I heard it and I smelled the struggle on them. I have this weird like fear that if I listen to it, I'll start resorting back to some of those bad habits. Like when I start justifying, like, well, that bass line was terrible, but maybe a stand-up bass ain't so bad. I should go back to no, don't do it. Don't do it. Like, I don't know, it's just a weird thing, but now
maybe it could be good though. Like it could be creative, you know what I mean? Like that's how people get these like original like sounds. Like you just you do something that no one else is thinking of, or people think is gonna be a bad idea. And
then we came up in a time period, bro. Like when you're talking about, remember MTV had like the MTV Up Next. I think that's what it's called. When they would highlight an artist, like I think they did like Dizzy Rascal. They did. I mean, I never forget there was an indie band that came up and they were using like little kid keyboards and they were making like hit songs at the time, and they were an indie band on the rise. I'm like, you can get on MTV doing that. And then I saw Dizzy Rascal and it was like, he made Fix Up Look Sharp on a PlayStation game. He made that on the same game I got. Fix Up Look Sharp. That was the first time I was like, oh no, I'm going to not only do this on not FL at the time, on MTV Generator, but I could possibly blow up off of this. Oh, say less. But that's the generation we came up on. And it wasn't an easy game to get into, but you know what I realized? The worst part of any company, software company, any kind of company, is when they realize how tight their shit is and they fuck it up. MTV Generator did that when they started putting like Snoop Dogg remixes on there and Drop It Like It's Hot. I was like, oh, you guys know that you're hot. Oh, you know that you're tight. Now it's gonna suck. And it did.
So I don't know. I don't know if I've ever played it. I might have played it. Like I might have tried it one time. Like anytime I've ever tried to play one of these sort of game video or like music hybrids like this, like I have something like I have like the core whatever it's called on my Nintendo Switch. I like paid for it, opened it up one time, and I was just like, no. And I've also tried making beats on the phone before too. And I'm like, no. This is like in order to learn how to do this, like it's like almost learning another DAW or something. It's like you're taking like a bunch of steps backwards in order to just probably do the same thing you're already doing.
Well, and I don't know if I don't know what your group like consists of in terms of the folks that you go to for your inspiration, but like it gets even more discouraging when I get a guy like Oh Gosh is one of the most talented producers I've ever met. When he could just jump in mobile after being there for 5 minutes and he's like, I made this shit. Like, no, the fuck you didn't make that in that mobile device. I made that. It's just because you realize like it is to a certain degree, of course, gear can limit you, but it really does come down to the ear as well. And that's something I'm curious about with you, bro. Like you ironically went from highlighting a lot of the darkness in the producer community to now my new vantage point is that you've become one of the like last lights in this space, because you keep shit funny. You keep shit lighthearted. You don't take things serious. I'm seeing a lot of folks like even watching like Cal Beats get into this like supremely emotional content. And I'm like, damn, like it's just, for me at least. Right. And I get the value of what is happening, but it's like, I watch DJ Payne and when he's doing these videos super zoomed up and he looks like he's like a disappointed dad in the producer community. It's just like, I'm looking at all of this stuff and that's no shade to him. I'm just saying like, that's the kind of shit that I see. And I'm like, until you do content, you won't recognize how draining this can be when you're invested in all this shit. And that's another reason I had to just bounce. Like, I know people think I maybe have abandoned the producer community. Fuck it. Okay. But my mental health, my family is a bigger priority and it will always be.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. Like, honestly, like I've been thinking about trying to like branch out more, but it's kind of hard because like if you don't make something that appeals to your core audience, then it won't try to
Right.
recommend it outside of your core audience. So you have to
Sure.
like, so I've been kind of like thinking about doing like more video essays or something like that, but like focusing on like topics that are like more broadly appealing, like kind of like I guess kind of like Patrick CC, but hopefully
Mm.
better. But hopefully better. I don't know, like
But you're good at this shit, bro. Like that's the difference. Like you're good at this, bro. Like when you do your research, you're thorough, but you're not a bore. Like that's something that when you have a skill set that's difficult for other people, but it's easier for you. I don't know how easy it is, whatever it is. But when you have that, you gotta like jump into that. You gotta. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to railroad you. Want to make your point? Yeah. But I was gonna say what you're talking about, pivoting into a wider audience. It took me. I said wider, by the way, not wider. Wider. Just making sure somebody on there was like, somebody gonna put that in the quotations. But when I try to branch out, bro, I went through 3 years of trying to figure this shit out. If you look at my content, it was a mess. It may not have been a mess quality wise. I still showed up and did great content, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I was watching these videos from different, vidIQ videos and TubeBuddy, all these different, and I'm like, nobody can teach me how to do this shit. I got to work my way through. So I made all of these videos. Bro, I had videos. I was working like the producer cinematography type video style. I was doing those and it took me 27 hours of editing, a 15-hour shoot, and they get 4,000 views. I went through 3 years trying to figure this shit out. And it wasn't until I started doing reaction content. Shout out to my guy, Ruslan, who was the one that had a course, taught me, and that was my pivot. But bro, the moment I saw, I don't have to talk about producer content, and that shit flew off to 100,000 views. Oh, I was gone.
it's like that the gif with the black guy, like please just disappear.
PC. That was me. That was for sure me, because I was like, this shit feels like the space right now feels like it's cannibalizing itself. It feels like there's so many people here who are bickering with one another over things that don't fucking matter at the grocery store. I had a mentor, you know what I'm saying when I say that? Like I had a mentor that told me, I was telling him the situations I was having with different people in his space. And he did a thing on the phone. He was like, hold on, Curtis, I want to put you on three-way. He calls a local grocery store and he's like,
oh my God, you told me about this. This is funny.
He says, hey ma'am, what are your thoughts on Busy Works Beats? And she says, I don't know who that is. Who's your thoughts on Curtis King? I don't know who that is. Thank you. And hangs up. And he's like, stop fucking caring about the things that don't matter. It just doesn't matter. You're hyper focusing on this because you're in this space. None of this shit really matters in the grand scheme of things. Plus, when I started making beats on that MTV generator, I wasn't thinking about no other man or no other competition. I just wanted to be great at this thing called music. I wanted to be somewhere in the same ballpark one day as people I look up to. All right. Granted, I didn't get there to a lot of my favorite producers. I met a lot of my favorites. I met the Ninth Wonders. I met the Timbalands. I met all these different people. And now, like, I'm working with one of my favorite producers in Iman. So it's like DiBiase, one of the greatest in this space. House Shoes knows who I am. Like, I've met all of these people, and I'm like, dog, like, this is not normal. Obviously, from where I live at, it makes it easier to do some of these things, but they know me and respect what I do. And then I found success on the internet as well. I have lived a very, very privileged existence as a beat maker, or whatever you want to call it. Now that I have this life on this space and a media end, dog, you ain't got to worry about me. Like, that's why I don't understand people are so obsessed with me. I haven't even opened up FL Studio in months. Like, I'm not making beats right now. I'm just rapping and making my content and talking shit about Spotify and streaming and all that.
Bro, I'm actually sick of talking about Spotify. Unless they do something insane at this point, I just don't like it. Doesn't even get views anymore. Like, people are just like, oh yeah, what's new? Like, yeah, of course Spotify is terrible. Like,
duh. I've been following you, Daniel Eek. It's done. Yeah. It's done. No, I call him Eek. I call him Eek.
I call him Big Brain Man because he's got like the mega mind.
What made him shave his head bald?
I don't. He's probably balding. He's probably balding. If I had to guess, like, I mean, some people just like that look though too. I mean, I don't know, because I remember when I shaved my head, that was a while ago. Like, there were actually people. There was like some girls that told me they liked that I looked like that, and I was like, really? Like, Really? Like, because I don't see it. Like, I look insane. I look insane. No, they're like, yeah, you look like really masculine and scary. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. No, I don't want to look like that. I don't want to look insane.
They love your bald head more than you do.
Yeah, yeah, for real. Like, that's not even a joke. That's not a joke.
Not even a joke. That's what they sold you.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Man, yeah, it's bro. Like I don't know, man. It's it is. Do you feel like it's happening to the producer space right now? What do you? I mean, obviously, you don't want to say anything. I don't want to have you say anything that's going, kind of compromise it. But it feels like a lot of this shit is cannibalized because folks are doing all of this back and forth, reaction to this, and I get why. It's good. It's great content, but you're not seeing nobody open up their DAW and make a beat.
Nobody wants to watch that. That's why. That's really what it was. For John Wayne's like one of the only people doing that. Or then this other guy, Lucent, I found recently. This guy Lucent's pretty good too. The thing is like it's just hard to make that entertaining. I think you know what I mean. It's hard to aside from it hard to make entertaining while doing it. It's hard to get people interested to even click on it in the first place. You know what I mean? And I think people are also burnt out too. Like music producers are burnt out from making their own shit all the time. And when they go on YouTube, they're probably trying to escape the monotony of making beats. You know.
I had somebody. Go ahead.
That's my theory. No, I was just saying that's my theory on it.
Something else that kind of helped me see another perspective on it too was a guy told me I had to stop watching your content for months because you were making so many beats and it made me jealous. I said, jealous of what? He said, you get to work on music anytime you want while I'm at work. I didn't even think about it from that angle. Maybe that's just one person. Maybe that's a small percentage, but I thought it and I was like, there could be people who are watching me having all this fun because like my thing is this, do I care that people are there? Yeah, I'd love for there to be thousands of people in there when I'm making music. That sounds fun. But is that the single reason why I'm not going to make any music streams? Like I got to the point where I just need to do that because music really is my therapy. It's really always been I shouldn't say therapy. It's been a relaxing experience for me. And it's been like a decompressing. I do all of this content. I talk about all these different people and I'm like, man, fuck these producers, fuck their beats, fuck their songs. I want to make my shit too. But I think the more I started meeting people, and this is not just a producer thing on the internet, the more I met producers even in the industry, I realized production is their job. Making music is their job. They never made the connection of this is their passion, right? They seem to be more passionate about the bag, more passionate about the money, more passionate about the numbers. And hey, if that's what it does, if that does it for you, cool. I don't mind making a beat for 6 hours in front of 15 people in my live stream. It doesn't hurt my channel unless I keep it up there, but damn it, it fills me up. Like you get a different Curtis King, fuck Curtis King. You get a different Dewan. That's my government name. The next day, if I worked on music the night before. And so I didn't realize how much the producer shit, all of the drama was draining because I wasn't making music. I didn't come here to argue with grown men about trivial shit. I came here to make music. I get that it's not entertaining, but at the same time, like, I really love this shit. That's why I love when you do your streams, because I'm like, to me, that's part of your brand too. Your brand is a big fuck you to whatever you told me I need to do to be successful. You found what different ways to do it. So I don't know. I do feel like there's gonna be, maybe it's Gen A that's gonna bring that in, where they will find a way. I look at like the I Show Speeds and him making beats on FL Studios. I see the speed runners and all of this.
Wait, was that real? I didn't know that was real.
Oh, that was real. He was on the stream making beats from what I'd seen. It was making. I know what you're talking about. It was a viral video that looked fake because he was just reacting, but no, he was making a beat. But I look at that and I'm like, that's all it takes for there to be a domino effect where people are like, you know what?
More interesting.
I never thought about this. Like, because my sister had it. Okay, let me give you an example. My younger sister has nothing to do with production, right? She don't give a shit about none of this. She'll tell me the truth. She says, I can't watch your Instagram content. At the time I was making a bunch of producers. I said, why? She says, because what's the name of that program? I said, FL Studio. It's fucking ugly.
It looks like a Scantron.
It looks like a scam too. I don't know how that relates, but it looks like a Scantron. It looks like the colors on it look terrible. It's not appeasing to the eye for a general consumer, and they don't know what's going on because it's so much shit on there. Same thing with pretty much any DAW. So it dawned on me like, oh, maybe in this content I should show more of my face. Day and night difference in the content. So what I'm recognizing is that part of the entertainment. That's why when I see people jumping into like the EA Ski live streams, and he'll be making something on the MPC. Well, that's an actual skill set somebody's watching, right? When they watch the different folks, like when you're in there, people can see a skill set that's the entertainment. If that's not the case, why do people go see live bands? You can get music anywhere but I do believe there's going to be a Gen A, Gen Z that is going to figure out how to make it that and make it that. And maybe the technology hasn't caught up, but dog, if producers don't get back to making music, this shit is just going to be World Star. This shit is going to, and World Star is not even World Star no more. And I mean that, like motherfuckers are going to cannibalize themselves because you got people who don't want to show their face telling the professionals how to do what they're doing. You got people who don't want to work on beats telling other people how to make beats. You got people who don't make good beats telling people how to make good beats. And it's just like, at some point, if this was just a normal culture in society, that is doomed. So I'm looking at this now, not being inside of it. I'm looking from the perspective outside of it, like I left at the right time, because the way this shit is going right now, it's great content. It makes great views. One day, producers coming up are going to stop caring. So I do feel like something like, man, that's why I love John Wayne for making. I don't know him, but I know him. I know of him. Don't know him in person. I'm glad he made that video, because if I'd have made that video, they'd told me to shut my dumb ass up. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'd be like, shut your ass up, man. You always preaching. But I'm glad go make some drums, Metro. But I think that if anybody's going to figure out, it'll be folks like you. And I think it's going to be folks that are coming up afterwards too. But we got to figure this shit out, because, dog, could you imagine going to an NBA game and these motherfuckers are not playing basketball?
I mean, I don't know if it's like the exact. That's not the like
terrible analogy.
It's not the perfect metaphor, because it's more like it's like watching like the practice or something. You know what I mean? I feel like it's like the practice is like being. I don't know. For me, like I don't like making music on stream. Like I will sometimes, but I for me it just feels like a personal thing. You know, like I like to like not be pressured. I like to just be like sit down and be like take my time, like, you know, find the right sample or whatever. Because I feel like there's always a pressure with live streaming where it's like, the longer you take to do anything, the more people are going to leave. You know what I mean? So like, it kind of makes me feel like I have to be fast. And if I'm not fast, then people aren't going to watch.
You know what? You helped me understand another point too. Maybe I got too comfortable online too. Like, I think I got really, really comfortable online to the point where I've showed up online with barbecue stains on my beard and didn't recognize it until after the stream was over with. Oh shit. I'm really too comfortable on here. But man, to me, I guess for me, it just comes down to the love of it. And if 3 people are in there, dog, like, thank God it ain't never been 3 people. But if it was, like, now we got an intimate party. Now we're gonna sit up here, because the thing is, I think with me playing shows as a rapper, I've done all kind of hole in the wall shows. I've done 10,000. I've had 10,000 people in front of me. I've done touring. I've had all of these things where I've gone through every level of it to experience it. By the time I get to live stream, I'm like, all of this shit is icing on the cake for me. So the fact that I get to make music in front of people, was it nerve-wracking the first time? Hell yes. The first year was nerve-wracking. I was in my head. Now though, bro, like, I just look at it like, how else would you ever experience this? And then also too, I look at it as a reminder of why you're even listening to my other content. If I'm not good at what I'm doing, why the fuck are you listening to me tell you how to produce? Anybody? Why would you if I'm not good at it? Like somebody in your comments, I had to laugh. They said, Busy Works and Curtis King is having a mid-off. I'm like, what the fuck did I do? I'm like 50 Cent. I'm like, what did I do?
I think I saw that comment too. That's funny.
I'm like, I'm minding my business. It was funny, but I'm like, I'm minding my business. I'm not, but at the same time, I'm like, mid. I don't think what I do is mid, but I can see how somebody who doesn't like the style of music I make, I can see how they feel that way. There's always room for improvement. So I'm at a place now, bro. I'm just like, bro, fuck all this shit, bro. Like, I just want to make music. Fuck these folks that don't understand that or don't like it, dog. Just, I want to make my music, bro. This shit is too fun.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I honestly, like, if I had the choice, I would prefer to make music over doing videos. But I do like doing videos. I just don't like editing. I don't like, and it's not that I don't like it completely. I just don't like doing the tedious parts of it, where it's like, you know, cutting out, like, repeating yourself, like cutting out, like, you know what I mean? Because I like doing editing when it's like, I don't know if you saw the recent one where I was like, microwave. I don't know if you saw the microwave thing.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, anyways, like, sometimes I'll do like a really ridiculous edit, and that's what's fun to me. Like, when I get to do, like, put in like a bunch of memes, or like, do like glow or like delay and like all this like crazy shit. Like, that's where editing is fun to me. But everything else, I'm just like, it's just really monotonous, you know.
Yeah, you're also another viewer too. I think anybody who's aspiring to do YouTube, like, or content in general, don't forget you're the first viewer, and if you're bored, good fucking luck, bro. By the time it gets to the people,
well, the whole thing is you want to make it. Well, what I do is I sit down and edit it until I'm not bored. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not. I don't get. It's not even that I'm bored editing. I just don't like doing like the tedious stuff.
And I wasn't making a comment about you. I wasn't making a comment. I was just saying in general that there's people who make these edits that I know are half-hearted. I don't look at what you do. Like, I look at what you do as it's a lot of editing. Is it not? With the B-roll, with the zoom ins, with the explosions, and I know you're repurposing the live sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably hours. Like, it depends. Like, I feel like the W&M videos probably take the longest. Like,
okay,
especially if they're like over 15 minutes or so. Like, that could take me like 6 hours or so. But like, if it's like an 8-minute video on one topic, I could maybe get it done in 1, maybe 2 hours. But like, that's if I'm sitting there like straight up focusing. Like, I'm not like watching anything else. I'm not talking to anybody on Discord. I'm not like doing anything else. Like, I gotta like be straight focused, like, because I can be pretty quick.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta find your system, bro. Like, I know me doing these live streams. Like, thank God I have another editor now. You know, for some reason he's in the news too now, right? He's in the producer news now too. I don't know if you want to cover it.
I did cover it. I had to. I was in a live stream. I felt like I had to cover it because I'm like, well, if I'm covering all this busy stuff, I gotta cover this at least. But I put question mark. I question marked it.
Why is my video editor in the news? This man is like one of the kindest dudes. He's from Trinidad, Tobago. He's
like, wait, I mean, like, what? How come? Why isn't he giving Busy his edit? I mean, to be fair though, Busy he did not really send him like good like shit to edit. Like, I kind of was like pretty fair about like my opinion on it, because like all he sent him was like some stuff that was already mostly edited, and then it's like, I don't know, he didn't really give him like any real direction. Like, you know what I mean? If you're paying somebody to edit a video, you usually give them something raw and then like they work on it. Like, you don't like, you know what I mean? You're making it's making it weird. And
in his defense, he didn't even let me know that he was doing that, right? I think he kind of felt like I don't know. Maybe he was like, I don't know how he's going to feel about that. But my thing was, here's what I have to offer you. And for this service, like, this is what we'll do. This is our arrangement. Are you able to do it? Because at the time, I met him through him just doing random content about me taking my music off of streaming. And so I was like, I like your editing style, but I was going to get him just for my micro content. So he just popped up on my timeline. I'm like, so I don't know the timing of when, I don't even care the timing that they met. All I have a question is this. Why is Busy hitting up my editor in the first place?
Yeah, no, it's definitely on some weird shit. You know what I mean? It wasn't because he liked it. I mean, I doubt it's because he liked his editing style. Maybe that was a part of it, but it was definitely like it was supposed to be some sort of slight towards you, you know?
If we're talking about business ethics, why wouldn't you hit the person that's currently relying upon this person to edit the majority of their videos? Why wouldn't you reach out to me unless you had other ulterior motives? So my question before any of this exchange of money is, what is your motive in hitting him up? Of all, you got 1 million, 1.5, whatever, I don't know what he got, what, 1 million something subscribers. How do you, first of all, have time to hit up my editor? 2, what is possessing you to hit up my editor after I've obviously shared him on my platform and I've bigged up him? Why are you hitting up my editor? From what I understood the last time I talked, he has editors. Why aren't they editing his videos then? Like, because they're like 45 minutes, like uncut, like, and there's like retakes and stuff. Things might have changed. Things might have changed since I talked to him last. But all I know is he really had the same thing. Like, I wouldn't even want to hit up. If somebody told me, if I said, what does your resume consist of? And they said his name, I'd be like, sorry, we can't work together. Like, it's just a conflict of interest. I don't even want to have the opportunity for this to be content. That's how tactful I am. Him?
No, it had to be intentional. It had to be intentional. Like, it's like, he was probably hoping for something like that to happen.
This is the harassment I'm talking about. Because it's like, this is so uncalled for. I haven't said anything. I just seem to be bothering him so much just by merely existing. I don't mention his name. There's no reason to in this new content that I'm doing. The new content is about Black culture. The new content is about hip hop culture, independent artists, not even producers. What reason do you have to jump out of that space to come attack what I'm doing? And why are you so aggressive? Why are you so consistent? Why? This is why, like in the last stream, and they tried to make that a talking point. The only reason I brought up, because I don't believe in bringing up people's families as bait or even as like talking points. My thing is, I, as a father, as a husband, I look absolutely fucking crazy to my wife. If I were to do things like that on the internet, she would leave me. If my son grew up seeing me act like this, what do I expect that he's going to be? Yeah, it's trolling. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, the internet loves it. Fuck the internet love. How do the people in my household feel about me? Papa, I love you. Come here. Come here. Real quick. As he's playing my music right now. I love you, Papa. I love you. I love you. Oh, I love you too. That means more to me than any of this other stuff on here. Like, what are we talking about, big dog? Focus on you and your, like, we came here to, somebody had a tweet with a meme and said, dog, the internet is free. And somehow you can magically make money off of this shit. Not saying it's all just about that, but in a lot of ways it is about that if you're planning on making a living doing this. And instead we choose it to like mudsling and talk shit. Man, all I know is if I'm 75 and I think back to this time, I want to whoop my own young ass up. I want to beat my young ass up. Why? Because I'm like, dog, what are you doing at 39? What the fuck are you doing, Curtis King? You should be out here doing what you can to secure his future. No, instead you was mudslinging with a guy that in the grand scheme of things doesn't really matter. I don't really matter. Right? But I don't understand the obsession. I'm talking to you today. Hopefully, once again, it's not going to be closure, but I think that the thing I like about you and your audience is that they will take time to gather the information and build up a narrative that makes sense. That's why like I come in a live stream and I'm just like, I wonder what the general point of view of it is. Would you consider that narcissistic?
No.
Because I've seen people sling that word at me too.
I feel like narcissism is like a spectrum. Like in my opinion, like it's like I mean, it's like a narcissist would be somebody whose ego is just like way surpassed. And like I don't think that's you. I feel like I'm not even gonna say the obvious thing here. But yeah, this is one reason I meant to say this earlier. This is one reason I kind of, so I've had people be like, why don't these people just box? Why don't they just do a beat battle or something like that? I'm like, bro, that's not going to fix things. You don't understand. Like when it's this level of ego, like that's just going to make things worse. Cause it's like, if they let's say you and Busy did a boxing match, right? Like let's put it out there, right? Let's say you guys did a boxing match. If you win, he's going to keep fucking bothering you forever still. It's going to get worse. If he wins, he's going to go around gloating about it forever. Like it's not going to fix shit.
I got crazy ex-girlfriends that have given up faster than this. I don't understand the obsession, bro. Like he tweets more about me than my own wife does in a day. My wife said this before. She's like, are we still talking about him? I'm like, no, honey. He just keeps popping up on my timeline. We'll be sitting here. Me and my wife like to watch YouTube. We watch one of our favorite channels is Odie. He catches like the gold diggers. Like he's a big channel on here, right? We're watching that, and then she'll see all the videos get served up. There was no lie. Like I think it was last week. There was like 3 videos with my face on them, and you were like this. It was me versus him, and I'm like, dog, all I tried to do out here is exist and help people. Did I talk a little shit down the way? Yeah, I for sure talk some shit. Did I do things that maybe I could have handled more tactfully? Yeah, for sure. Let's start with that conversation I had last year. But the truth of the matter is all they saw was one version of me in this YouTube space. I needed to know, like, this shit is getting really uncomfortable for me. And not uncomfortable in a way where it's like, oh, you can't be stronger than, oh, no. It's getting to the point where it is becoming an obsession. And all I wanted ever to happen, like the last message I sent to this dude in a text message, he sends me a random text after the Dame Taylor situation. I don't know, thinking we're friends or something. I'm like, nigga, you've released a diss song on me. You've done slanderous content more than enough times. You've done all these different things on your channel. Like, you think this shit is going to disappear? This is not a game to me, sir. You've done all of this, and you send me a message. He says, oh, I was just looking at your community feed, and I noticed there was a typo in this one post. I said, thank you, but never text me again. No slander. I said, thank you, but don't text me again.
I probably would have not even said anything. Like,
but if I don't say anything, like he's gonna keep doing it. He's offered me opportunities in the Web 3.0 space, and I'm like, first of all, if I ever did business in that space, I'm not gonna do it with you, because look at the way things have turned out in here. Not just no shade, just facts. Look at how this has panned out. I don't do this with anybody. I don't even like my name being associated with his. But for some reason, he seems to be encouraging it to be associated with his, because I don't know what the end goal is. You're trying to save the community. From what? I'm not selling to them, not even talking to them. All I'm doing is sharing my experiences. What am I not supposed to talk about my success? I never told nobody to quit their job and did it. What are we doing right now?
I feel like there's some, like, he's trying to galvanize people. Like, it's like sort of like some sort of manipulation tactic where like you're trying to unite people against a common enemy. And like, if they don't believe in that enemy, you can make people think that's the enemy. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of what I think is happening. And like some people on my Discord have like done, it's funny because they'll do like more research on him than I do. Like I don't really like look it up anymore, but they'll pull up stuff sometimes. And they pulled up this clip. I think it might've been from a Producer Grind interview or something. He talks about like some Scientology books, and like it had us asking, like, is he a Scientologist? Because a lot of the stuff he does is like kind of similar to the things like Scientology teaches you to do, or that they do in that circle. And like, I don't know. It's really, it's kind of scary.
I'm going to say this because I don't want to look like it's an obsession on my end, but I have definitely given thought to why the person that is so obsessed with numbers, so obsessed with my name, so obsessed with any little thing that I do, he needs to have a response to anything. I mean, let's not even think back to the whole beat battle thing when he wrote a 4-page letter and read it on a live stream. And that kind of fights your point about, you never saw it because he took it down. That kind of fights your point of what you could get away with making beats on a DAW. If he can sit there and read a letter that he typed up 4 pages to his audience about all the things he wanted to rebut of what I said, this is when I start to look at him in a different type of perspective now. And I say this because I asked the same question on the live stream. I don't have any evidence of this. This is all speculation, and I don't know. I'm not making a joke. I can't make a joke because my son is on the spectrum, but I have questions about this obsession that he has with numbers, sales, this obsession that he has with hyper focusing on one person, one thing. These are all things that I see as characteristics in my son as a young child on the spectrum. Now, my son, between a 1, 2, 3, he's a 2. So that means he can go either way, depending on how developed he has. But he has me in his life. As a father in his life, he has me. So he's likely to be on the other end where it's not as severe. Thank God. I'm there. I take him to school every single morning, pick him up, go with my mama, go with my wife to go pick him up, his mama. Like, I'm active in it because I understand what it could look like. When I look at this gentleman, I believe, I have no evidence, it's pure speculation, that he is high functioning autistic. There's no laughing bone in my body when I say this. When I asked him the question, you know why I asked him? Because it just dawned on me. I was like, all the symptoms that I looked up for my son, he's exhibiting as an adult. And I just said, wait a minute, are you on the spectrum, bro? Because if that's the case, I got to stop arguing with you right now, because then I feel bad.
I see the reason why I don't feel bad is because he's like going around attacking people. You know what I mean? Like if he just kept to himself, like, and just was a goofball by himself, I feel like it would be mean, you know what I mean? It'd be bullying. Like when he's like one of the largest, like, well, at least in terms of followers in like the producer community, and he's going around attacking people and like just for like no reason, like seemingly no reason. It's like somebody has to say something, you know? Like it's like you can't just, I don't know. That's the way I look at it.
It's crazy. One of my community members, when things was kind of getting crazy again, I think a year before last, shout out to T Sketch. She told me one time, she said, you ever think that, and I'm not trying to impose my spiritual beliefs on anybody, but she said, you ever think that God is sending you this test in the version of him to prepare you for your son and to show you what that could look like if you're not present in his life? Like, I don't know what his relationship with, it's none of my business what his relationship with his parents are, but I look at him and as somebody that is unhinged. I look at him as somebody that doesn't have accountability partners. I look at him as somebody that doesn't answer to those people. I have OGs right now that will say, that's a bad move. You a grown man, you can do what you want, but that's a bad move. Epic is one of those. Epic the Don. He don't be on the internet like that. That's a wise human being. Now it's Iman Omari. They keep me on point. I can stay on point because I know the code, but it's like sometimes that beige rage come out and they call me and they like, you feel better after doing that? After I did that whole situation on the phone with you, with him, and I talked to you on that one live stream last year. Epic hit me up and was like, you feel all right? You feel better now? I said, sorta. He's like, you can't do that again, right? And so it dawned on me like, that doesn't make me look any more sane acting like that on the internet. How am I any better than him? So now I need to make sure that's why I'm glad that you invited me here to talk. I know you wanted to talk about other things outside. I'm like, there's no way. You've been making a whole lot of content and people got questions, and I don't even need to clear the air. I just want to make sure that y'all know this is not a back and forth thing. This is one person's hyper focus and obsession with trying to tear down my name, my reputation. It has gone as deep as creating fake websites to ward or leverage traffic because he thinks he's in some kind of proxy war. I had to Google proxy war. I had to Google it. I don't know what the fuck that even means. But I remember he did the same thing with Taz Taylor. He talked about these are the ethics of war, and and I looked at that video and I was like, do you know if that video is still up? I don't think it is.
Okay, I wish I could see that.
Because I wonder if somebody told him like, that looks fucking mad, sir. That looks really wild.
I don't understand because like the producer community infighting video, the one that triggered me to make the video about him, that video, like so many people disliked it. There were so many like horrible comments on there and he deleted all of them. Like, I don't know how you just fucking like pretend like that didn't happen. Like, you know what I mean? You pretend like, I don't know, like maybe it's just like a coping mechanism where you're like, you know what? They just didn't like me. You know what I mean?
Well, I think he embraces it. But I think once again, this is why I keep saying high functioning autism, because depending on where on the spectrum they are, everybody has a different type of way that they receive criticism and the way that they have social relationships. What I have noticed is that they say they don't pick up well on social cues.
Yeah.
You see that on full display anytime you see him talk to Dame Taylor. He's not picking up any. Dame Taylor's talking. He's saying all kinds. I'm from California. I see some of the shit talking that's happening that he's not even catching, and he's like processing it in real time. Like, never thought about it like that. He's not picking up on the social cues. When I see that kind of thing, I start to look at it and I'm like, obsession, not picking up on social cues. Also, maybe he's not processing criticism the same way that you and I may. You may look at that shit and let it bounce off. I look at that shit and I'm like, well, why would any human being think that about me? It means something to me. It used to mean something more. Now I can't let it, but because people have been saying crazy shit since I started doing this other type of content. But I look at it and I'm like, I remember when he was putting out the music videos back when I was rocking with him for his, when he went through that whole phase where he moved out here to San Diego and was trying to find his way and all of this. He was doing videos with models and all of this. I watched the video and people were like, this is the most horrible fucking thing I've ever seen. And he was liking all the comments. So I don't know if he processes that as, and the only reason I'm going this deep into it is because this person is trying to make themselves the center focus of my life. They're trying to be a main character. They've been harassing me. So I look at this and I'm starting to examine it. Like, why would you be like that? And I looked and I said, he's treating every comment as the same thing. And maybe he's processing it that, well, at least you care. You're going to turn into the top end of my funnel one day anyways.
Yeah, I've seen him talk about that before. I hate that we're talking about him so much right now, but also I feel like there's like a lot of deep analysis going on right now. And like he talked about before how like a hater, like you can convert haters like into like it's like the first step. And I'm like, bro, like, I mean, sometimes that does happen, but like, that's not just something that always happens or like very often even. Like, I feel like that may happen with like somebody who watches my stuff because it's like, there's like, I try to be funny. Like, so sometimes I might make a joke where like, oh, that was funny. I was hate watching you, but now you made me laugh. So now I like it. You know what I mean? But if it's like, so unless you're providing like some extreme value, like you're not going to convert those people.
And why would you? My thing is when you're coming in here with, and you know what? I'm not even going to judge it. Never mind. It's none of my business. For me, I came into this space to help people. I saw a lot of content that was tutorials. I saw nobody talking about mental health. And I saw a lot of producers that weren't leaving their homes. They weren't getting sunlight. And they were wondering why, no matter how much success they got, they were still fucking depressed. That's where I came in and tried to provide as much of the information that I learned. I'm not a psychologist, but I read a lot about my anxiety. I read a lot about, the way my brain works. My pops is a psychology major. Like, these are things that I look into the whole makeup of somebody, because I really want to understand why they're motivated to act the way they do. Because if not, I'm just going to get mad. And when I get mad, I don't think straight. So I look at this and I'm just like, nah, dog, like, I would much rather be I want this to be on the record. I would much rather be a distant thought on his brain. I don't ever want to come up ever again. Nothing I said here was about any shade. I have no reason to go back and forth. I don't even want to mention this person anymore. You'll probably be the last person I talk about this with, because it's so beat. Like, I look at you and it's beat. Oh, it's a beat horse, bro. I don't know why. It's because I'm done. I'm done. But this is a good place to be done. I don't think the Dame Taylor platform was, because I see now he mad at me again for something. I haven't talked to him since December 24th. Try to reach out to him and say man, hope all's been well. Like, he wanted to really connect. I got the text message, and now he's talking as if like I'm an op too. And I don't get where all this energy comes from. All I want to do is exist, make great fucking music, take care of my family, go to sleep, wake up, and do it again. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not that deep.
Yeah, I feel that, man. It's funny. I would always say it's not that deep, and my ex would just be like, it is, everything is not that deep to you. I'm like, dude, a lot of things are not that deep. Like, it may seem that way when you overthink, like, things are like deeper than they are. But like, a lot of times things are not that deep. Like, things are not always as nefarious as you think they are. But I mean, they are with certain people, obviously.
It don't have to be, but we know it. We know what this is, bro. Like, I know even this is going to warrant a bunch of responses. I just hope that your audience, anybody who's still interested in this, because people are like, they saw me respond back to the rapper who says something crazy, like they made a diss song about me. Another rapper made a diss song about me, and I responded to it in his song that I have on the project BEIGE EP. And immediately they was like, "Oh, it's about him." And I'm like, "Let me clear this."
First two, I thought it was at first too, but like, just because I thought about it, maybe I was just up late at night, and I was just like, "Wait, you referred to him as a rapper? That's weird." Like,
and that's the reason I didn't respond too, because you got to understand, I had just came off a weekend in Denver with Murs. I was actually out there with Murs doing some mentorship for up and coming artists who are putting together a project. Very talented. They didn't need, mentorship for their craft, but I was there with them building a project. I produced the majority of it, and I was there. I was having a good ass time. I got some, I got what they call it, altitude sickness, but that's another story for another day. And then I remember I woke up and I got text messages like, "Hey bro, like, don't even respond to that shit." I'm like, "Respond to what?" They're like, "Hey bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, this shit's goofy, bro. Like don't go off the handle." And then finally I get on my timeline and people are like, "Oh, you put a diss song out?" And I'm just like, why the fuck is the guy that I met in suits and ties releasing a drill beat diss song on me? Like, if anything, I felt like, damn, this is how low my career has gone. I can't get rappers.
I can't help but laugh about that song, because like, what's funny to me about that song is like all the different voices,
bro. The Biggie voice and had that song came out today and I was still like, say if I was still engaging with it, I would have made a reaction video and had the funniest shit in the world. But at the time, I'm still a hot-headed person from California, and I'm looking at this shit like it's on sight. Because when I see you, I don't see. But I had to stop that because I realized he doesn't play that kind of game. He plays, I call the police type of game. I had to stop myself from showing up at NAMM looking for him because I thought he was going to be there that year. I stopped myself. I was saving bail money. This is how angry it was getting me. But then I just stopped and I said, "You're giving it way too much attention." And he doesn't want to engage in that way. He wants to just irritate things in a public forum. And he only does it when I win. And I started thinking about it from this perspective, Weaver. I'm a fun opponent when I'm winning for other people because I give them attention. That's fun for them. This is all a video game. I didn't see it that way. This is real life for me. Like, Murs was like, "Why the fuck do you care? Like, why do you care?" I was like, because my business. And at the time, like I said, my business was like actually hurt. I was probably going to go bankrupt. That's the last thing I need is somebody who has some influence over the producer online space trying to tear down the rest of it that I have left in terms of the income that I'm generating. It's the last thing. Then he comes up and then somebody named Dame Taylor pops up. And I'm just like, okay, like, I don't know what the lesson here is, God, but okay. Like, I guess I'll figure it out. But you know what? I did. And thankfully, now we're in a space now where it's like the content, I can't even make content about it anymore because my audience that is here now, I have like, if you remember,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Bro, I was stuck at 230,000 subscribers for 3 years because I refused to buy ones. I refused to buy them. I said, I'm going to do this the hard way. And I did. And then now I'm at 290. What is that? 60,000 new subscribers since I do this content. So like, if I have to give them so much context for them to, first of all, care. And secondly, I'm not sharing you with them, bro. I'm not sharing you with them. Like, you didn't earn that. If you want to earn it, do the things that YouTubers do, like evolve. And I say the same thing for anybody. Like, it's not a shot to him. Evolve. And I've seen him do like more reaction content. It's good. Evolve.
It's funny how reaction content has become a good thing again. Like, it used to be really bad before. Like, it used to just be like somebody like watching like a cartoon and just laughing. And like, I feel like because of streaming, like, it's actually, there's certain people who are like really good at it, like that give like really good opinions, or they like can elaborate on things, or give some sort of counterpoint that it actually becomes valuable. You know what I mean?
Right. I had to learn the art of it. Thank you, bro. Because I had to learn my way, bro. I was a boomer when I got in here. I was talking too long. They was cussing me out. They was like, stop fucking talking and play a clip.
I'm still working on it. Like, I pause too much because like I'll pause anytime I think of something to say, and then sometimes like it'll be like 1 millisecond after I had just paused, and they're just like, oh my god, stop it. So like I don't know. I'm like referred to as the pause king now, and it's not like because I like make sus jokes. Like, I mean, I will make sus jokes, but it's because I will pause more than anyone else. And it's like some people can't even watch it. They're just like, you're pausing way too much. Like, this is annoying me.
Man, like, well, I think at some point you find your speed, right? And then when you know what's going to get edited, what does it even matter? I'll tell you this, man, like, as somebody that never got paid for my services as a producer when working with TDE artists, right? Never received any payment. I put that in my book. It's been very publicly. There's not no new bombshell. There was a part of me that was always proud to see them winning. Always proud. But there's another part of me that's like, damn, with y'all winning so much, it would be awesome to, like, especially now when my business was going through things, like to receive a check. But you know what? Water under the bridge, I learned my lesson. This battle, as much as I'm Team Kendrick, I'm Team Westside, this was also an opportunity for me to get some back pay as a producer. And that I did. I've been here for 9 years on YouTube. And I've never, up until the 9th year, had a success story like the last 6 months. Live streams during that beat battle. And the thing is, I had very special context because I worked with TDE artists. I worked with Kendrick. So my perspective is different. They're seeing I got a song with Kendrick. Like, they're seeing all these things. And so it presented some unique. So then it got to the point where I was like, all those rules in my head that I made about reaction streams, none of it fucking mattered. One of my biggest videos right now going viral is like Drake is officially done. It's an unedited, well, I shouldn't say unedited. It's a chopped down clip with no extra edits in the middle of like 45 minutes. And that watch time is insanity. If it's great content, the point is, if it's great content, people will watch. It's just a matter of like figuring out what that thing is for you. And I feel like you are such a special situation because, you know, if anybody who knows about the idea of content buckets, you got so many content buckets, bro. Like you have like the plug-in police is one of them. You have, you know, the reaction to what's going on in the producer community. You have teenage, I forget the name of it. Is it Teenage Toys? What is it called?
Engineering.
Teenage engineer. Like, the only reason I know about it is because of your video. So I look at that and I'm like, when you have those options, it could be a double-edged sword. One, it gives you options of new content to make, but also it kind of distracts you from the thing that you probably should be quadrupling down on. That's why I had to get rid of production. I had to get rid of all these other, like, no more brands. I'm not doing no more sponsorships, especially after my shit got doxxed. No more sponsorships. I'm not touching it. unless you really want to be here for the long term. Letting go of my DistroKid sponsorship, bro, you know how hard that was? Because that money that was coming in, you know how hard that was? But I had to stand on my principles, and I did. And now we're doing all right. I'll just say that. We're doing all right. These are like the biggest months I've ever had as a YouTuber, and it took 9 years of doing this.
Nice. And I'm looking for that video right now. Suicide Boys took credit for my beat. I never seen that one.
Yeah, that was my first one receiving hate. People were like, "We're gonna find your address and kill you." I said,
"Oh my god, dude, bro!" Some people get really mad on the internet. It's crazy, bro. Like I can't. I guess I could say this. Nah. No, you don't even do it. Yeah, no, I don't want to give him attention. I don't want to give him attention. That's kind of what he wants.
It's crazy. Like, there's people right now who are like, I just want to apologize. I can't even think of a name right now. I forget the guy's name. He's from the UK. It's not Viral Beats. Is it viral? No, it's somebody. Whoever you are, I blocked you years ago. Could you please stop telling that story every time there's a video that is not showing me in a positive light? Every time, I promise you, it's almost like it's a copy and paste.
I think I know who you're talking about. I don't remember their name though. But yeah, I think I've seen them say that in my comments before. I don't remember who it is. It's not Viral Beats. Viral Beats is pretty chill.
Viral Beats the homie, yeah. Well, it's somebody who has like a similar avatar, but it's like, only reason I even remember you is because you continue to tell the same story of what happened. Was I hypersensitive one day? Sure, I'm a human being. I think one time somebody told me like, and that's a story he keeps sharing. I told him his AC was too loud and he blocked me. Because you weren't focusing on the point and you were distracting everybody else to think about that now. So yeah, was that a little bit much? Okay, sure. Could I let it go? Sure. But we had such a small community, everything popped out. So when I seen it, I'm like,
that's really funny.
But like, then also too, it's never just the one statement. I let at least 5 go through where I'm like, okay, you're really trying to get my attention, bro. Now you're just complaining. So with certain people, like, especially now, like I won't even, it's too many people in there. That's a good problem to have. But at one point, it wasn't too many people. It was like, I remember your name and you make it a pain in the ass to come to work today. And I don't have to deal with you. Fuck out of here.
Bro, that's really funny to me that he got blocked over the AC noise.
Yeah, I was just not having a good day that day. He was like,
it must have been a rough one. It must have been
a rough day, bro. Was it sensitive? Sure. But he was like,
that's really funny.
He's like, turn your fucking AC down. Or she said something like that. And I'm just like,
how? First of all, how? Like, how do I turn it? Like, if it's buzzing, I can't stop it from buzzing. Like, I can kick it. Like, I don't know if that's gonna stop it. But like, the trick for me with that, you can't EQ it. The trick for me is you have like if you have Isotope RX, there's like a voice denoise thing on it. Just toss that on there. Yeah, I usually use that. I'm
not doing all that. And we in here making beats. It's not even that loud. It's just that I think people look at you on the internet, look at me as like an extension of their video game. That's my theory. They look at you like a creative player. So they get on there and talk about your beard. They get on there and talk about your hair. They get on there and talk about, why are you talking like that? You get on there and are you really black? They have all these things they're saying because I'm like, oh, this is just an extension of your my player on 2K. I'm not a real person to you. Because if I was, you wouldn't say any of this in real life. I know that. Not even on some like trying to punk nobody. It's just like you wouldn't say this shit in real life. It's just that when you get on here, this is like an experience that has no consequences because you can say whatever you want.
Yeah. That's one thing I notice. YouTube comments in particular are like an extra, they're like next level. They can be next level toxic. And I think there's no connection. Like you could just make an account, no profile, like just name whatever you want. Like, and it feels hard to track somebody down. Not like literally like track them down and find them in real life. But I mean, like you can't tell who it is. Like it's a lot harder to tell who it is. Like for instance, if it's like on Twitter and Instagram or something like that, you could probably like look through like followers and stuff like that and be like, oh, I think I know who this is. You know what I mean?
Hey, funny story, real quick, because I know this guy hates my guts. Allegedly, Bricks to Maine. Bricks to Maine. You know Bricks to Maine?
I don't know.
You know Bricks to Maine? Bricks to Maine. He was on the producer grind. He did producer grind content. He did like a lot of like the guru stuff. Like I got this 5-step program, and he's a very talented producer. I believe he's out of Atlanta. I did the Sus Bunny character, and I think he thought it was about him.
Oh.
Don't know why he thought that was about him, because Sus Bunny is a collection, when I used to do these skits, of every hotshot producer that name drops and gives very bullshit advice. Matter of fact, Sus Bunny got inspired by my experience of going to iStandard. I met a lot of producers there where I was like, I'd give them actual practical advice. And this motherfucker over here who got 50 placements, he said, so like, what advice would you get to like copyright my music? Man, like, you gotta have a team. You feel me? You gotta trust in God, and man, like, just keep it icy. Round of applause. Oh! And I'm like, he said a nothing sandwich. And y'all are eating it up because he got placements.
Fed you air. He just fed you air.
So that's where that came from. He got mad. I think somebody put on his radar because he was like, he said something in my IG. I kid you not. This man types in all caps. It's a very, very specific way of talking. I looked it up. His way of talking on the Instagram, and somebody sent me this long ass page about how problematic Sus Bunny was. I'm not saying it's him, but if I was a writing, what do you call that? A signature analysis or a writing analysis. If I was that kind of person, and I showed it to my wife, and she was like, "Oh no, that shit kind of similar. It's even the same emojis and all of this." I was like, "That's the kind of shit we're dealing with the internet. You never know when you're talking." I just met a very famous independent rapper who I thought I was not even a blip on his radar. I saw him when I went to go do a studio session with the homie Daylight and Willie B. Actually, it wasn't even my session. I just went to go kick it with them. I seen him. He was like, "Curtis, bro, what's up, bro?" He's like, "Man, I'll be honest with you. I have a parasocial relationship with you." So what do you mean? He says, "I watch your content a lot, man. And
I think I love you, bro."
he said,
I want to get married to you, bro.
I watch your content, bro. He says, "I'll be honest with you. I got a burner account. Sometimes I debate with you, and you'd never know it's me." I was like, I'm gonna stop arguing with people because I don't know who these people. These people might be literally. It might be my wife.
Sometimes I will joke like for instance, like I'll get a comment and I'm like, "This sounds exactly like Busy Works Beats," and I'll just be like whether or not it really is, I'm just like, "Hey Busy," like I don't know if you know like where that's from, like do you know where the "Hey Busy" sample's from?
No, I never heard that story.
You never. Yeah. Oh my god, I gotta show you this after. Okay, so basically, after this is like a while ago. So after that video I made about him, like responding to his video, came out like a year ago. I think it was almost like around a year ago now. People in my Discord were making like AI voices of both of us and making us have conversations. And for some reason, it made me sound so sus. Like it was like, "Hey Busy," like it was just like. So like I one day I made that the notification sound on my stream, and it's just been that way ever since. It's so funny.
Hey Busy.
Oh. Why does it sound more excited than I've ever heard you? That's
"Hey Busy." It's like "Hey Busy." Like
that's when you drink that brown water. That's what that is. That's the
bro. Like it's like me off crack or something, dude. Like
that's 10-hour energy drink.
I gotta drop you that video. You just gotta see it just for
okay. Bro, I try not to engage in this stuff. I tell you, you make it interesting. There's been times where I watch content that you're doing about me, and I'm like, damn, I wish this wasn't about me, because I'd be enjoying this so much more. Because I just cringe at some of this shit, and I'm like,
yeah, I know.
How did I disappear and still get part of the? Why am I still in the news feed right now? I should have been like, remember this guy from the producer space years ago? He used to say rappers and producers. I should be that guy now. I don't know why I'm still a relevant conversation.
That's one thing that was really funny to me about his diss track. How he's like rappers and producers. that killed me. I'm gonna drop you this link for later.
You know what? The funny thing, I'm going to tell you this to you. You hurt my feelings one day, bro. You hurt my feelings when I was watching a live stream. You don't even know this story. You really genuinely hurt my feelings. I was being a punk that day because you was like. Somebody said, "Are you gonna cover the BWB and Curtis King thing?" You was like, "I don't know. Maybe on my second channel. Doesn't really get a lot of views. It's not really a top priority." And you kept going. It was like, you know what? A sound effect was like, "It's really on the top priority." Boom. You know, it really doesn't get a lot of views. Boom. It doesn't really. That's how I felt every time. I was like, oh my god. I remember watching it. I was like, then why is it so annoying? Why is it so present? Why does it feel like it is something that does? But you were like, that's not even worth my second channel, maybe. That's crazy. Why do you hate me, Weaver?
See, I don't even remember that, man.
I do. It's the narcissism in me, man. Your people were right.
I don't think you're a narcissist, but I mean, like, I think you may have, like, I mean, everybody has like a certain level of ego. Like I've
for sure.
I never told this story before, but like, so I was pretty decently sized on SoundCloud before I made a YouTube channel. Like I had like 20.
Wait.
Okay, yeah, I know. Okay, pause. Yeah,
No,
pause. Yeah, I
it
get
was no, it was not the pause. It was you pausing after decently sized, and then you let SoundCloud pop out of your mouth, which is crazy. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm being immature.
Okay, so like I was doing SoundCloud for like a long time before I did YouTube, and fuck, I don't remember where I was going with the story, dude.
I'm sorry. I forgot you got the
Shit.
ADHD. So
Dude.
So, I'm sorry, bro. It's my fault.
Wait,
I was talking about oh shit, man. What was I talking about?
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so when I first had my music blow up on there, like they used to have this explore page, right? And like I would just tag it as trip hop, like hashtag trip hop, and I would like upload a new song like every week and maybe like a mix sometimes. I was doing that for like a long time, and like I actually was seeing traction from it because like somebody was posting it at the top of the explore page, like every week, and like the shit was just like blowing up. And like that was my first like time like getting like an ego. Like I actually got a fucking ego. Like it was bad, dude. And like I actually lost some friends because of it. Like one of my best friends, like me and him got into like an argument, and like I kind of somehow reconciled with myself about like how I think it's because like I started to like fall off, kind of like the numbers are falling off. I realized like I was like losing some friends. And I was just like, oh shit, dude.
Shit.
I was like, you know, I'm fucking up. Like I was like, I think I've done some damage here. You know what I mean? Like I was also like arguing with people about numbers and shit like that. And I was just like, fuck, dude. Like, and I kind of vowed to myself after that to like never let myself do that again, you know?
Right.
Like hopefully I stay on that path. I guess I kind of like humble myself in a lot of ways. I think like having a YouTube channel kind of humbles you in a lot of ways because like things can flop at any times, right? And like also like you get comments all the times where you're just like, fuck, dude, like,
am I that?
Is it really like that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it kind of humbles you in some ways. You're just like, shit, dude. Like,
it does. YouTube did that to me the other day. I was like, I had a video that had 40K in a day. I was talking about a new benchmark that Kendrick's Not Like Us just reached. 42,000 in a day. It was my first 1 out of 10 in like a month. I was like, oh, we back, baby. Then the next day, I put up a short 1.8 thousand. I'm like, oh, we back down, baby.
Yeah, bro. It'll humble you.
It humbles you, but then also too, I said something a year ago, and I wish I could find a clip because people were like, man, like, you know, are you going to switch your channel up once you start getting views? And I'm like, first of all, if what I'm doing right now gets views, why would I switch it up? Because it got me to the place it is getting me to. All I know is this: whatever got me to 230,000 was not what's going to take to get me to 290,000. Yeah, and I'm experiencing that now, where it's like there's not much has changed. The format changed, of course, of what I'm talking about, but like I'm still giving Curspiration. It's just packaged in a way that is more digestible and is more broad, right? So I guess it is a lot of change, but it's not. It really is the same Curtis King, just in a different space, being more open about who I am as a human beyond just what I do. But like, my thing is not much should change because that's what got you there. Some people fuck up by getting to a certain level and wanting to change everything because they're like, well, now I have to be like super professional. I got to find the right camera. Like, that's what I like about Kai Cenat. Like, he got, I mean, I know it's all for show, but like he has the same chair as when he came up, that same tore up chair. I think those kind of things matter. Lil B did that. Shout out to the homie Lil B. Him wearing the same Chucks that has a certain type of relationship with Gen Z and millennials that we kind of get. There's a nostalgia there. There's a consistency. There's a humility that exists in that. So I look at that and I'm like, dog, these are the same cameras that I have been using for the last 8 years now. And I just happened to get better with them. The lighting got better, but now I'm still inside the house on my armchair, giving my philosophies, whatever. Somebody called me an armchair philosopher one time and that pissed me off. But I did all of this and I'm like, it's the same format. It's the same type of videos, but it's just now my audience is larger, but not much changed. And why would I want to change that? So the ego thing is crazy because I think every time I got an ego, God had a way of humbling me real quick in real life. Like immediately after I get some crazy traction somewhere, some wild shit would just happen. Yeah. That's like, whoa. My bank account still says 0. Oh, can't take them views and can't put those in my pocket right now. Not to the 21st or the 23rd. So it's like I kind of like that balance. I kind of like the risk taking. That makes it exciting. I kind of like having those moments where I do fall off and I got to get back up and do it again because to me that's exciting, bro. But yeah, ego I haven't had enough time to really sit with because every time I got a bit of an ego, I got humbled. Like there's videos right now on my channel where I do perspirations in an empty room. People don't realize like I was going through a breakup, and it was somebody that I was engaged to, and I broke up, and she was like, "You gotta get the F out of my house." So I said, "Okay, cool. I'm gonna do these last perspirations before I leave, though." And I'm giving other people motivation while I'm dead fucking broke without a home. I'm homeless. I'm going to go stay at the homie's house, shop on the homie oh gosh's couch I'm getting ready to stay on. And I'm still doing videos. I go to his house, or more so my homegirl Trinity, go to her house. I can't do video content in his studio because oh gosh is a producer who has clients. So what do? My homie Richie, who now has a clothing brand, we go in the car and we do perspirations. You look at them car perspirations, there's a certain period of time. I still made it happen. All right, couldn't do it in the car because the police passed by. Let's go to the gas station. Let's go to the park. I do them at the park. The wind is blowing by. Like by any means, that's just my personality. So like every time I thought I was hot shit, quickly God was like, sit down.
Yeah,
you ain't nothing. Every time, bro. Even to this day, like that's why like I'd never get too highs on my highs or too low on my lows because I'm like, this could be gone in a second.
Yeah.
So
I feel that. That's real.
Okay.
I think we got it all here.
Thank you for once again allowing me to come on your platform and have this conversation. I think people who have already kind of developed an opinion about me are probably going to stick to that. For those of you that are out there that are on the fence and want to understand where I'm coming from, hopefully you got to see more of a human being in this conversation. But all in all, just know I rock with your guy, Weaver Beats. I still have it planned. I'm not going to do no more skits as a producer, but there's one more skit that has to get done, and that's me going to Hawaii as Darnell and interviewing Weaver. That's just grade A content, like 60 minutes.
That sounds good.
I felt very ignorant about Hawaii. I was like, I didn't know Hawaii had hoods. I thought it was all resorts. And then I saw someone, I was like, well, the people that work at the resorts got to stay somewhere. And that's what somebody gave a perspective. I was like, oh, so there's all these different, so I'm trying to go out there, man. I'm trying to see. Take me to the trenches, Weaver. Let's go to those trenches in Hawaii, man.
I mean, honestly, I don't think you want to. I don't think you want to.
I don't want to.
Yeah, you don't want to. It's not great.
Curtis King was
tragically gunned down at Waianae earlier today.
For what? What are you doing there, Curtis? Because I wanted to see the trenches. It's all good, bro.
Want to see the trenches? Now he's in a grave.
Now he's in a trench. Yeah, there you go. Good job there, Curtis. No, man, I definitely want to make that happen, bro. Keep killing it, man. You make producer content fun to watch because it doesn't feel like it's like driven by your own biases. Like I love that you don't take yourself too seriously because it makes it easy to watch. But it's a weird space right now, man, and I wish y'all the best because like that Magic Johnson meme, I don't work here no more. I don't know what's going on in that space, man. I wish y'all the best.
Yeah, man. Thanks for joining me here. It's been great.
Of course, absolutely. Thank you for having me.